needs more sub. Huh? You what?
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for Shabbat. Those of you who are here in person and our friends who watch us from your homes. We're going to begin our service or continue our service with the song Lechu Neranena L'Adonai. Many of us had a long week and we need to let go on Shabbat. Lechu Neranena. Let's rejoice on Shabbat. Before we continue, I would like to ask you at the house if you would like to share something good that happened to you in the past week. We will ask, you should put it in the chat box and we will read your good news and share them with all of us. It's wonderful to see so many people here. There are few of you here who I've seen only on Zoom, and you're just a little square, and now you are real. Welcome. Thank you for being here. רוממו.
These rolling
You know, in some synagogues, they sing this song for 15, 20 minutes at least, and a lot of fly, la, ya, la, 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 la. And then some people get up and dance in the aisle. It's going to be really difficult right now with the 6 feet apart. One day.
Continue with the words of Lechadodi as we welcome the Sabbath bride. If you're able, I invite you to rise. If you're at home, if you're willing, I invite you to rise as we face the entrance to our sanctuary, to our homes, to the rooms we're in, as we welcome in the Sabbath bride, letting a little bit of that Shabbat into our lives.
Shalom ateret bala, gam basimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi ligrat gala.
You may be seated.
And this is the time before we continue with Tov Lehodot, the prayer of gratitude, to ask first those of you who are here, if there's something good that happened to you in the past week, something that you want to tell all of us, something that you want to say thank you, God, for.
I just want to say how amazing the
Thank you, John, and I'm happy that we were able really to support you, because before COVID, you would have gone to California and probably come back and have a Shiva or something, but with COVID, we were your only community and supported also your family in California and around the country. We got to meet some of them on Zoom, so some good things do happen. Thank you. Shelley. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. So I was asked to repeat what people say. So Shelley thanked the temple for allowing her. You don't need our permission. Everyone is always welcome to attend services at Temple Betham. During the pandemic, you have to call before and to give us your name. For bringing Caroline, welcome to our synagogue. I hope it will be a good experience for you. You're always welcome here. You have to really speak loud. Thank you, God, for being able to go back to school and to do sport and be normal again, even if not completely normal, but bringing back some of the normal things we like, appreciate, things that really make life good. Mark. So Mark Siegel thanked the community, thanks God for health, and in 13 hours, that's exactly it, his son Hayden will become a bar mitzvah. Probably. Are you ready for that? Of course you are. Yeah, we've been meeting every week, and this is the first time I see you. You really exist beyond the FaceTime. No, you have no idea how weird it is to meet with kids all the time, see just this little picture on the phone, and then to see them. Normally, they're much bigger in real life. Oh, you have more.
We have
That's
list.
wonderful.
We have a list. So Carol says that their granddaughter, a senior at Vandy, got a 518 on her MCAT and was the top 1% of her class.
Wow.
Ed Hockman is thankful for being able to listen to some great music and prayer. Thank you. Cheryl Plotkin says that Andy completes his first teaching for Arkansas State University online this week. Benny's granddaughter, Jorina, in New York is celebrating her 17th birthday today. Howard and Linda Goldman are grateful for their safe travels to Michigan to see their healthy children and grandchildren. Sheila and David Edelman are grateful for their daughter's good health report. Becca Steidel is thankful that she was able to vote in her first election today.
Ooh, Becca.
John and Rini are grateful to be back in person and hope to join us in person soon.
That's wonderful. One thing I know for sure, during the pandemic, we get many more good news. I think that we learn to appreciate the little things that we have not appreciated before. Tov lehodot. Thank you, God.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Ulezamer, ulezamer, l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Ulezamer, ulezamer, l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Lehagim b'boker
חסדך להגיד בבוקר חסדך
אמונתך בלילות, אמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר ולזמר לשמחה עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד בבוקר, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בלילות, אמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני. And we welcome the angels of Shabbat with the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamelachim,
Kadosh Baruch Hu, Boachel v'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamelachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu v'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamelachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Tzidkenu Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The Shabbat, as in many previous and future Shabbatot, will have two Bnei Mitzvah. First, I would like to invite, of course, online, Ben Kessler to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Next week, on Tuesday, we're going to commemorate the second anniversary of the shooting at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh that claimed the life of 8 people who went to services. And in our corner of the world, the Palm Beach School Board decided to rehire a high school principal who has been fired last year for being a Holocaust denier. They found that they had no good reason to fire him, and not only that they rehire him, they are also going to pay him back his salary is $152,000. Now, since then, I think it happened 2 days ago, they were forced to have another meeting to reconsider They received 1,100 phone calls, and the judge required that they will listen to each and every one of them before they go back to make their final decision. I don't know what would be the final decision, but as you can guess, I really, really hope that they will not rehire the principal. I know that many of you have been reading about it in the past 2 years and know more or less the outline. But today I'm going to make you thoroughly angry. It's not the right thing to do on Shabbat, but sometimes when you look at the details, you understand it much better. So 2 years ago, a mother asked the principal of Spanish River High School in Boca Raton, which is a wonderful school. Our own Marcy, oh, you also went there. So Aaron went there, and Marcy went there, and Ilana, our youth group director, went there, and I'm sure that many more went there. I know that they have an excellent debate team over there. Okay, so we're talking about Boca Raton in Florida. 65,000 Jews live there out of about 100,000 people. Outside of Israel is one of the cities with the most concentration of Jews. Okay, so we're not talking about a tiny city in South Dakota where people probably have never seen a Jewish person. So the mother asked the principal something about the Holocaust curriculum. And I'm going to read you some excerpts from the email. This is the actual email that was obtained by the Palm Beach Post, and the principal never denied it because he was not able to. Okay, so I'm actually reading from the document itself. The name of the principal is William Latson, and he's writing in response to her inquiries. The clarification is that not everyone believes the Holocaust happened, and you have your thoughts, but we're a public school, and not all of our parents have the same beliefs, so they react differently. My thoughts or beliefs have nothing to do with this because I'm a public servant. I have a role to be politically neutral, but support all groups in the school. So when it comes to the Holocaust, it tells her, there are two legitimate opinions. One is that the Holocaust happened. The other one is that the Holocaust did not happen and was made up by some Jewish manipulators. And I'm not taking a position. What do you want from me? Wait, it's just getting worse. I cannot say the Holocaust is a factual, historical event. I see your faces. I cannot say the Holocaust is a factual, historical event because I'm not in a position to do so as a school district employee. I do allow information about the Holocaust to be presented. Thank God you allow it in your school, and allow students and parents to make decisions about it accordingly. I skip a little bit. I'm not looking for a situation to divide, but just to let all know I don't have a position in the topic as an educator. If I didn't read it, I would have thought that somebody made it up, because it cannot happen. Not in Florida, not in Palm Beach County, not in Boca, not in 2020. And Florida is one of, unfortunately, only 15 states in which schools must have Holocaust education. So he has no discretion as a school principal to decide whether or not to teach Holocaust. But what he's saying here, hey, well, I'm forced to teach it, but if you ask me if it's true or not, I'm not going to say anything about it. It's mind-boggling. So they fired him. It took them a year to research. I don't know what research you do in a year, but then they decided to fire him only to rehire him again. Now, had he said it in one of 16 European countries, including Germany and France and Austria and Italy and Spain and Portugal, and of course in Israel, he would have been charged for a crime. Because in these countries, denial of the Holocaust is not protected by freedom of speech. This is a crime, and in some of these countries, you can go to jail for 1 to 5 years. In our country, as well as in England and in other places, freedom of speech, the First Amendment comes first, so people can say whatever they want, or at least on that topic. And that's why the United States, by the way, is the center of Holocaust denial, because people from all over come to the US, and the institutions and the organizations are based here because it is legal. Now, whether or not we should, in America, criminalize Holocaust denial is a very important debate. Here, there should be two sides to the story. I'm not going to do it tonight, but easily we can have argument why we should criminalize it, because when you do, and these are the results in Europe, there are less people who deny the Holocaust, but others would say that they don't do it publicly, but they go underground, or they do it from different countries. So even the Jewish community, including Holocaust survivors, and the biggest experts on the subject are divided, probably in half. Because some say, don't do it. As despicable as it is to deny the Holocaust, and I'm talking about people like Deborah Lipstadt, who is the #1 scholar in the world probably on anti-Semitism and the Holocaust, she said because forbidding people, preventing people from expressing their opinion is exactly what the Nazis did. So we should not do it. Others, of course, would say something else. But this is the kind of debate that we should have. And I tell you, I go back and forth all the time. That's not an easy answer. This is good to have two camps. But whether or not the Holocaust happened, no, there are not two opinions. This is a fact. In the 1980s, one of the anti-Semitic organizations, the Institute for Historical Review. Sounds good, right? Historical Review, sounds like an academic institution. And when you read their stuff, it's well written. And I do read a lot of it. It's killing me from the inside. But I learned that you have to know your enemy intimately. So as difficult as it is, I read the anti-Semitic journals from time to time. I'm afraid to Google it because of obvious reasons, but I find ways. So they have these magazines and they have their conferences. In the 1980s, this organization said that they would pay $50,000 to someone who would be able to prove that the Holocaust happened. And a gentleman in California, Holocaust survivor from Hungary. Hungary was one of the last communities to be murdered in Europe. It was almost at the end of 1944, the end of the war. One of the last acts of the Nazis, they took the majority of the Hungarian Jewish community, transferred them to Auschwitz, Birkenau, and killed them. So Mr. Mermelstein lost his entire family. He was the only survivor. So he was up to the challenge. He brought several notarized testimonies by people who saw his mother, his sisters go into the gas chambers and presented them to this despicable organization. And they said, oh no, that's not a proof. You're lying. Because that's what we do. As Jews, we lie all the time, so why not lying here? So he sued them. He sued them in California for many different things. And I want to read to you what the judge in California wrote. I even have his name, Judge Thomas Johnson. He said, this court does take judicial notice. And judicial notice means that this is an undeniable fact. It's something that everyone knows, and nobody should bring an evidence that it's actually the case. Right? We say that the earth is not flat. I don't need to bring evidence. Okay? So in California, this court take judicial notice of the fact that Jews were gassed to death at Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland during the summer of 1944. It is not reasonably subject to dispute, and it is capable of immediate and accurate determination by resort of sources of reason, indisputable accuracy. It is simply a fact. And that makes a lot of sense. And Mr. Mermelstein won, obviously. And then there were some other lawsuits between him and the organizations. And here what we're saying. So 4 out of the 7 board members of the Palm Beach County Board of Education say, what the principal said is not right. He shouldn't have said it, but it is not severe enough to fire him. What would be severe enough to fire? So during the hearing the other day, one of my colleagues, Rabbi Andy Rosenkrantz from Temple Bet Torah in Wellington, represented the Palm Beach Board of Rabbis. They gave him 3 minutes, which he did a wonderful job. It was very eloquent. And he said, he read from the mission statement of the Palm Beach County School Board. And he said, your mission is to provide the student with world-class education. And to do that, you need to have the best ethical and moral educators. And this guy, and I more or less quote Rabbi Rosenkrantz, he said, I don't know if he's anti-Semite. I don't know what he has in his heart. But denying the Holocaust is an anti-Semitic act. And to restore him back to work for the Palm Beach Board of Education, this is not his words, that's my words now. It's not only this slap in the face of the Jewish community, of the Holocaust survivors that many of us here are descendants of, but I think that of every citizen of the world. All I can do at this point is to really pray that next week when they come back, they will realize, the board members, how ridiculous their decision was, how wrong it was, and stick with the original decision to let the principal out of the Palm Beach school system, because we don't need Holocaust deniers here. We don't need anti-Semites to educate our children. Sorry to make you angry, but it is really important, and it is in our backyard. Shabbat Shalom. before I invite you to, actually I am inviting you to rise for Baruch, the call to worship. And those of you who are home, I don't know how many of you really rise. The few times that I watch services, it's really hard mentally. It's not physically. It's weird, but everyone prays the way she or he wants. But those of you there, please share with us names for the Mishaberach.
Be seated. Let's read together. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk. As your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living, eternal God, we are sovereign to the end of time. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'Aravi.
Amen. And before we continue with the prayer of Shema Israel, I would like to invite you to take a moment to relax, to unwind. You may want to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in again and out. Let's take this time to try to let go of our anxieties, of our pain, of our worries. This is the time that we talk to God and listen to God's reply. You can share with God what we have in the depth, in the deepest place of our heart. We can ask God questions. We can protest. We can be grateful. And we pause to listen. Let's take another deep breath and take in the warmth, the blessings of Shabbat. And today we really feel that we have a community again in this sanctuary. It's a wonderful feeling. And let's breathe out everything we need to let go of. Everything we need to breathe out. And together, let's say the words of Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul,
And
with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your head, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. So we knew that we will have some young friends today. We chose the Veshamru that requires some movements. I don't know if you remember how to do it. Yeah, you're too old for that, Hannah. No, you're not. So if you remember, if you feel like, please do it because we have not seen it for almost a year.
Shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you. Thank you. No, really. Every tiny sign of normality makes us so happy. I don't know if that's normal to do all these things during services, but it is our normal. We're about to continue with the Mishaberach, the healing prayer. So if you're at home, would like to mention now the names of loved ones who are having a yortzeit today, please write them in the chat box. משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah and Rachel, bless and heal those who are ill. Does anyone here would like to mention the name of a loved one who is ill and in need of healing? Are their names?
Lee Sims, Pat Sickles, Joe Goldring, Sammy Siegel, Joe Beam, Sandy Cook, Bela Leno, Johan Mastonen, Candy Seeger, Sandy Grossman-Dworkin, Rosanna Goldberg, Sophie Aaron and Robert Bortnick, Rona Zandel, and Mim Geyser. We pray together.
Bless the ones before us, help us Please rise if you're able. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And we continue now with the mourner's prayer, Kaddish Yatom. You may be seated. On the occasion of Yortzeit, the anniversary of our loved one's death, remember Edith Siegel, mother of Elaine and grandmother of Audrey. Beatrice Drower, mother-in-law of Vera and grandmother of Nat. Arno Delman, father of Jeffrey. Muriel Ensline and Sigrid Ensline, parents of Bob. Bruce Cerrone, brother of Janet. Jean Allen Rosner, grandfather of Tracy. Annette Geitz, wife of Stanley. Edward Glazer, husband of Lois and father of Natalie. Howard Goldman, father of Lisa and Bill. Saul Fox, stepfather of David. Isabel Rosenthal, sister-in-law of Esther and aunt of Cindy and Herb. Eileen and Chris and Deborah. Alan Horowitz, brother of Linda. Yaakov Greenberg, father of Clara and grandfather of Alex. Shimon Katz, father of Leonard and grandfather of Alex. Mara Bromfman, friend of Clara and Leonard. Michael Birdman, friend of Clara and Leonard. Estelle Kaufer, grandmother of Ilan. Adele Kicken, mother of Doris and sister of Alan. Tilly Klein, mother of Dawn. Haskell Goldstein, father of Brenda and grandfather of Lauren. Hyman Kramer, father of Martin and grandfather of Lauren. Arina Averbach, aunt of Arina. Esther Messelbaum, aunt of Natalie and Mike. Harry Lever, father of Ken. Marilyn Bridenthal, mother of Mark. Bob Moorer, husband of Louise. Abraham Lepson, father of Marion. Isaac Koretz, father of Lois. Ramona Burgess, mother of Christine. Edna Chasen, aunt of Julie. Joel Lasowich, stepfather of Jen. Daniel Eisenberg, father of Natalie. Jack Calaffer, grandfather of Carol. Lawrence Gordon, father of Ruth. Jacob Steinhardt, father of Kabi. Elisa Daniel, mother of Lauren. Claire Kronberg, mother of Renee. Zina Edelman, mother of Linda. Leslie Zion, niece of Herb. During the month of mourning, Shloshim, remember Alan Morgenstein, husband of Toby and father of Marcy. Michael Andelman, friend of Chris and Ralph. Mildred Silverman, mother of Sandy and grandmother of Lisa. Sherry Kesselman, wife of Michael and mother of Paige and Skylar. Henry Fisher, son of Leona. Dan Baum, friend of Jody. And during Shiva, 7 days after the funeral, remember Gail Geller, mother of Sandra and grandmother of Jesse, Danielle, and Kylie. Janet Bereznik, mother of Sue. Stu Gilbert, father of John. And Stephen Gordon, husband of Nikki and father of Sarah.
As well as Jack Callifer, Gail Geller, John Burdick, and Sheldon Katz.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דברה חירותי ואמליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
ואמרו
Please be seated. Hayden, are you mentally ready to see yourself leading us in the Kiddush? Are you sure that your hair was perfect for the camera and everything? Let's check it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'aratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon himchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila la'amikra ekodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'atanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'hava uvratzon imchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai מקדש השבת.
Amen.
L'chaim.
Amen.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread.
Thanks.
Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra li'ein nasa b'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiflot hakol levado imloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yeh betifara ve'hu yeh betifara ve'hu echad ve'en sheni lechal shilo lehachbira ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra Eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor chavli v'eitzara ve'hu nisi u'manosli v'nakosi ve'yom ekra v'nakosi ve'yom ekra Avkid ruchi ve'etishan le'ayra ve'im ruchi gaviati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Chris and Jackie, for making us look a little bit better. Thank you, Ben. Let's go for the oneg.